Right then, welcome back. Today we're doing another master event, this time Phillip Island. Thankfully not the Nurburgring, after the horrific nightmare we had, but hey ho. 5 races, 4 races, a track day, whatever we're saying. First one is the track day, and we had a choice of 2 MV Augustas, so I went with the RVS, because it's got the highest rating. And it's got a skull on the number plate, which is weird, but it is what it is. And setup wise, Phillip Island is all front end for me. I like to go really heavy and deep and whatever else into the braking zones, and 15 overtakes in 2 and a bit minutes. Not massively difficult. Bike setup would play a big part in this, because as you can see from the swing arm on that bike, it's a bit bumpy. And setups would be a big thing in some of the late races, but for now, enjoy me overtaking everything in front of me on an MV Agusta. And it's done. Weird get off halfway through that one. That happens a couple of times on some of the other races actually, like a bit of a harmonic resonance. Yeah, call it chatter if you want, but a couple of times that happens. So second one, modern 600cc sports bikes, and as per normal, trying to find something I've not used, looking around. Well, I've pretty much used everything already, apart from that. The 2014 Kawasaki ZX 6R 636. So, I know it's got its own event, but I was quite happy to use it. Again, setup wise, all front end, massive amount of front end support. I kept using the hard tyre, which maybe on the 600s was a bit daft. I could have gone with a medium front and pumped the front suspension right up, but it is what it is. You live, you learn. Attempt number 1, not great. The AI were determined to do stupid things like that. Now, did I leave the door open? I don't know. but I certainly wouldn't have gone for that gap. I got back on and thought I've got a pace advantage in there into stoners that not quite inside, not quite outside line, and there's some nice big bumps there, and it just ends up causing the bike to become unsettled, and off we go through stoners again into the Honda hairpin on the brakes, and it just folds. It's just as I let the brake off and the bike goes to drive forward, I'm just off. It's just one of them weird things. Again, I got back on and thought I'll carry on, but no, up towards Lukey Heights we were off again. I thought, nah, no point. Attempt number 3. Quick bit of the track. Skipped it too tight onto the inside, crossed the grass over the curb and off. So no setup changes yet. Attempt number 4 over Lukey Heights. Down into the hairpin at the bottom of the hill, just too late on the brakes. It's not stopping, and I'm running straight on, and I'm off. I did get back on, but I only managed to drag it back to second. So, yeah, that was another 10 minutes I was never going to get back. So, I thought, well, I'll go for a medium tyre, I'll have a bit more grip, and I'll up the suspension. It's much of a muchness, really. And, well, did it work? Yeah, of course it worked. At the 5th attempt. Don't worry, it gets worse when we get to the race where I'm using the Monster. That's even a more attempt heavy than this one. But I've changed the riding style as well, just so I'm not looking at the same rider all the time. I've gone for a bit of leg out braking, a doctor's dangle, and I've gone with an old-fashioned or classic riding style where he's a bit more shoulders up. I think I might change it back. But anyway, ZX636. It's not the full 5 laps. It'll just be lap 1 and lap 5, and maybe some highlights in the middle if there's something interesting happening at Phillip Island. Enjoy. And it's done. Once we changed to that medium front tyre, it seemed to like it a lot more. So slightly stiffer spring on the front with a medium tyre, and she went a lot better. Won it quite easy in the end. It wasn't massively. No penalties as well. That seems to be a thing on this for some reason. No penalties at Phillip Island, but it's done. Number 3. Modern 1000cc sports bikes for a cheeky little time attack. I know we've not used the BMW HP2 Sport yet, but fancied something more fitting for such a really naughty circuit, and I ended up on the Superleggera because it's a Ducati and it costs £1 million, and I'll never have one or be able to ride one with my knackered wrists. So I thought I'll give it a go. Again, standard setup now for me, pretty much most tracks, and we went for it. 134.8 was the target. Bear in mind, we've just done a 131 on a 600, so we should be able to do this quite easy. It's done, and it's done, and it's done, and it's done, and it was done by 5 seconds in the end. So yeah, hey, just don't fall off, and you'll do that. Pretty straightforward. Race 4. So either naked or sport 1000cc race bikes, and this is where it got a bit interesting. And I keep looking at the Monster. I really like them. The 25th anniversary one, the road bike from a couple of years back. Oh my lord, would I like to have one of them in the garage. But it is what it is. Set wise, this is what we went with. I didn't bother qualifying. I just stuck a setup in it and skipped forward. I wasn't really bothered. Can't choose any tyres because it's raining, funnily enough, and we are on 120%. So this was entertaining, very entertaining. So attempt number 1, change of direction out the hairpin, and the front wheel lifts up, and as it comes back down it just falls over on itself and we get off. So I don't make any changes and we go again. You think, ooh, attempt number 2, we're right at the start of the race, I wonder what's going to happen. Guess what, I'm getting straight off it, straight over the back. I don't know what happened, the wheelie control was on. I genuinely don't have a clue, but it is what it is, it's done. Attempt number 3, lap 4, we're down in 6th. We've had a couple of offs throughout the race and coming up towards Lukey Heights again. The AI weren't great through there. From Stoners through Honda Hairpin up towards Lukey Heights, I seem to have a massive pace advantage. So a couple of tweaks on the setup. We go again, and yeah, just too aggressive, far too aggressive. We're off, we're in the gravel again. Attempt number 5, 5 laps in. It's there for the taking, it absolutely is, and it just runs wide. No front grip whatsoever, just understeer all the way around. So I wasn't quite sure whether it was me getting on the gas, it was the traction control. So I go into the settings and I'm like, what am I looking for? I make the front end a bit stiffer. I don't know why, because that should just make it understeer even more, but for some reason it seemed to cure it. Into the hairpin at the bottom of Lukey Heights, too late on the brakes, we're in wide, we're on the grass, and we're off because it's wet and it's like sheet ice. Yeah, it just went on and on and on and on, and it's one of them horrible, nasty, it's wet and it's just, there's no grip, and I've picked a bike that's got loads of torque and a big 1200cc engine, but finally, we get it done. that's that one ticked off as well. Not the easiest race in the world. No penalties again though, for some reason. Only won by 1.2 seconds. That first lap, the AI were, they were on it on the first lap. It was, very interesting. So, 5th and final event, you know it. It's the endurance race. I'll put the full version up as normal. Some of you weirdos like to watch them the full 40 minutes, although no one actually watches it for 40 minutes, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. Most people are just mugging me off. And anyway, bike-wise, so endurance race, this 2008 R1, all of the R1s have a real problem putting power down. No matter what I do with the setup, they seem to want to wheelie all the time. You turn the wheelie control up, it doesn't drive forward. I don't know if it's a settings thing or it's an R1 thing or whatever, but you'd think the later ones with a cross-plane crank engine would be much better at driving forward. So I've put a setup in it, I've not bothered qualifying, and we're starting from the back of the grid. And the Nurburgring endurance race was absolutely ridiculous, like just stupid, absolutely just not necessary with the way that the AI was working. Now this one, this was entertaining because I was stupid, but look at this off the start. The AI drives straight into the back of another rider. So before we've even got hold of the controller, I've gone to full power mode, and we are 3 and a bit seconds behind the leader through the first corner, and there's not a lot we can do. Down to the hairpin, bottom of Lukey Heights, end of the first lap, and we finally catch up with the rest of the pack. So now it's one of my favourite things in the world, is moving forwards through a pack of riders on an endurance race. Fuel can go out the window, tyres can go out the window, I don't care, I'm just going to go for it. And I should have left it in normal mode for a little while, because it chews through the fuel like you would not believe. But as you can see, we're making progress. That's the Honda hairpin section into Siberia. And then is this bit the hay shed next bit? I think that's the hay shed, in it, up towards Lukey Heights, a really fast corner. And the bike was faster, it just had a clear pace advantage, or I had a pace advantage through there, and I was getting quite aggressive actually. We've gone from 11th to 6th on this lap, and I just thought, sod it, the bike feels alright. Yeah, the front tyre's a little bit cold, it should come to me. I mean, what time are we now? 12:42, so we're getting into the meat of the afternoon, so the temperature might come up, the tyre might come back to me, but it's a hard front, medium rear, and we're alright. The balance is not too bad, to say that I've just stuck a chin in it on a rough guess and tried to get going. It wasn't the fastest thing down the straight unless I was absolutely in the slipstream. I struggled, but outside of that, it was alright. It kept lifting the back wheel off the floor on certain braking zones as well, having a little bit of a wobble, but like I say, mega aggressive. I mean, that is aggressive on an endurance race, that is asking for trouble. But we're up to 3rd, and things were going alright. Until a couple of laps later, where we finally manage to get past the leader, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy, which I don't mind. I don't mind a bit of argy-bargy, but it's this old AI must stick to their line that they're pre-programmed to take. And later on that lap, coming up towards Lukey Heights, I just run too wide. I'm too wide, I'm too quick, and I get off it and do a few cartwheels and somersaults, and we're back down to 10th. So I don't mind, because we've got to do it all again, which is quite good fun. And the bike, as the fuel is burning off and the weight of the bike's getting a bit lighter, it's starting to do funny things. It's starting to lift the front wheel in changes of direction. It's like sliding a little bit out of corners. I don't mind the slides, the rear end slides are cool. It's the front end doing funny things, and I'm getting sometimes a bit of an oscillation, not chatter, it's more the swing arm and the bumps are getting in sync with each other, and it's just causing the bike to be very, very unstable. But we stick with it. We've just started lap 6, so we get most of the way to the end of lap 7 before we catch anyone else up. They were quick, the AI were fast, they're not slow by any stretch of the imagination. It was full on concentration trying to catch him up. But as the fuel's burning off, if you look at the tyres, the front's cold and the back's warm, So I've already made a mental decision at the pit stops to change to a medium front tyre, which can have its problems when you've got a full tank of gas on a 1000cc endurance bike. Through stoners, I take that inside line again, and I know I shouldn't, and I always do, always take the wide line, and we're off again, and we're back down at 10th. So now we're over a quarter of the way through the race, and we're down, we were 10th, we're now 9th. Again, a couple of laps later, then people start peeling into the pits, so the pit stop sequences have started. I've got 13% fuel left. I've got a little bit of back tyre, but I've got loads of front. So I go back to default mapping to try and just drag a couple more laps out of the fuel before I have to go in. And again, through this section, the Stoners, Honda Hairpin, like Siberia section, I'm quicker, so I'm harassing people. See that slide then? Just a little slide as it comes out the corner. It was just starting to just cause trouble and muck about. And it was one of these races where, because I was constantly pushing my way through the pack and constantly trying to make my way through, that I didn't notice how much time had gone, how much time was running away. And before I know it, 20 minutes has gone and I need to go in the pits for fuel. The AI almost makes a haberdasher of it there, which is not great. And we're in the pits. The pit lane entrance and the pit lane exit are absolutely ridiculous. Tyre wise, we go for medium front, medium rear. Look how long the pause is. I'm off the bike. Okay lads, you can work on it. You don't have to wait. Come on, you're just taking the piss. What are you doing? And then all of a sudden, I've gone for a full tank of gas and we're out the pits. Pit lane exit. Oh my lord. Like, I know they don't want you to go out there because it's dangerous. It's not real. Just let me come out of the pits there and everything will be fine. But no, they send you down the long one all the way at the end, and the autopilot disengages when you're on the grass. Thank you very much. What a lovely little treat for you that is. And we've got 20 minutes left. We're in 11th. We're 50 seconds behind the leader. Yes, the leader's going to pit, but most of the people above and Warrior are 4th, so up to 4th has been into the pits. So the first 3 riders have got to go into the pits. Rider on, what's that? Is that a Honda? Rider on Honda comes out the pits straight away, mega aggressive, which is perfectly fine. But the way the AI kind of came out of the pits there wasn't really a lot that you could do. If you'd run wide, they would have run wide with you, and before you know it, you've been off the side of the circuit onto the grass, because they love having a little bit of blocking action when you're there. And we're into the Honda hairpin. I go a bit deep, and I was like, oh, I'm going to fall off, and I didn't. And I'm very conscious of that Honda somewhere behind me. And as I tip into Siberia, again, I run a bit wide because I'm worried about that bike, and there it is. So there's a little bit of leaning, a little bit of rubbing, but we finally get past, up towards Lukey Heights, and someone's either gone in the pits or we've had a massively fast lap, because we were 50 seconds, we're now 40 seconds. The leader is definitely running out of fuel on this lap. There's no way they're making it round from there back to the pits. They are there you go, 0%. So now we know that we're actually racing this gentleman in first, and we're 8.5 seconds behind in 6th with 15 minutes left. So there was a lot of chopping and changing and toing and froing, and is it going to work, is it not going to work? And it took ages to get anywhere from 6th. I mean, what's that? We've gone from lap 15 to lap 19, so we've done 4 laps, and not that I'm expecting to catch people up really quickly, but we've gone 4 laps without seeing another rider before we've made any inroads whatsoever into the lead that people have got. The tyres are much more comfortable, the front tyres are better colour. It took the weight of a full tank very well, and as the weight of the tank's coming down, the bike's getting better and better. It's reaching that nice sweet spot. Just under 10 minutes left, 20 on lap 20, and now we've managed to get the lead down to under 3 seconds. So again, it's working our way through a gaggle of 3 riders without getting involved in anything, without getting bumped off or running wild or doing anything particularly exciting, just making sensible decisions about how to work past these riders, because they were not giving it up easy.
wave around the outside there, but it works. I was getting impatient. Yeah, I was getting a bit impatient, I guess. And finally, we catch up to the leader. Start at lap 24. So some of the positions that the AI takes when you get close to them, and some of the lines that they're taking it's just absolutely pure 100%. We're going to block you rather than race you, which is fine. It is what it is. It's the moving about in the braking zones that frustrates me. You go up the inside, and straight away, look, a massive. I know he's taking the race line, but it's such a dive across to that inside line. So you run wide, and then guess what? Coming out the corner, they want to go onto that little wide line, and you're just constantly fighting a game of guess what the AI is going to do. So it might look, a bit of a slide there. It might look like this takes a little while. What I'm not trying to do is rush past and get bashed in the side, and off we go. What I hadn't noticed, and I have now, go steady on them brakes. What I hadn't noticed is the person in third was less than half a second behind, and I was paying such attention. And watch what this AI, is it this lap? No, it's the next lap. Watch what the AI rider does on the next lap. Bear in mind, he's got just under 20% fuel left, and he decides to go in the pit. So it's another stupid AI programming decision. But it has was a very entertaining race. So by all means, please watch the full version. But again, there's another lap behind the leader, just to kind of illustrate and show you the stupid things that they like to do. So I'm going to shut up, and I'll see you again when he nearly crashes into me when he goes into the pits. So, round towards the pit entry, he runs wide and slams the brakes on and turns hard left. I think a little bit of poo actually came out when I was doing the race. I didn't know what was going off, I didn't know what he was playing at. All of a sudden, he's slowing down towards me, and bang, he goes in the pits. Now, that is the first indication, or the first time I've realised, that Charles Cooper is right behind us, is that headlight, and I'm on default fuel mapping. I'm on normal mapping because I'm just about to run out of fuel, because I pushed it onto power mode to catch the leader up. So now I've got no fuel left, and I've got someone who's on a quicker bike. I mean, look at that, harassing me, trying to get past. And it was one of them where I didn't want to throw it away on the last lap. The last lap of a 40-minute endurance race, and I was like, no. Like, please, please, please. Oh my good lord. The inside around the outside, whatever you fancy. Yeah. There's 35 seconds left. It's a 1 minute 28 lap. So I was very conscious of, like, am I going to be alright? And when it got to a minute and there was only 25 seconds left on the timer, I thought I was going to run out of fuel or have to go into eco mode or something like that. But I'm mega defensive. I'm a second slower on this lap, just trying to keep them behind me. I've got a little bit of breathing space. I managed to pull a bit of time out through Lukey Heights. And we come round the last corner, onto the straight, and thankfully we've done it. And in the end, Mr. Charles Cooper went in the pits anyway, because he's a sod. And he basically just ruined a grandstand finish. But we did it about 2 and a bit seconds at the end. No penalties. I don't think I got a single penalty all the way through that entire event, which is crazy. It was a good event. It gets a bit boring racing the same tracks, so variety is the spice of life, so they say. So the mixture of bikes will make it a lot better. But it's done. That's another Masters event done. Like I said, I'll stick the full endurance race up. And thank you for watching. I do very much appreciate it. It warms the cockles of my heart when I see that people have been watching my videos. I enjoy editing the videos, I enjoy doing them, I enjoy rabbiting along and trying to help you and other people and whatever else. So thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and fingers crossed, I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Peace.